Good morning. Today's lesson is 5.08, Introduction to Unions and Intersections. Today's aim is how could we identify a union or intersection with regards to probability. So today's due now. 240 people were surveyed as to their preference for a sport utility vehicle or a sports car. The results are in the table below. So using that table, you're going to answer these two questions here. How many females preferred an SUV? What is the probability of picking a male who preferred a sports car? So, how many females preferred an SUV? 135. Simply write in this box here. Right? SUV, female, where they meet. What is the probability of picking a male who preferred a sports car? So we need to satisfy two things. We need to have male and we need to have a sports car. So here's sports car. Here's the total of males, so it would be 39 over 60 or 65%. Alright, so unions and intersections, right? If we're talking two events, call them A and B. The probability of A or B occurring is what we call the union of A and B. And how that's denoted is it's P, A, this little U character, which we say union, so P, probability of A union B. In the Venn diagram below, the two circles represents the two events, A and B. Anything shaded part of the union. So as you notice, if this was A and this was B, or this was A and this was B, everything shaded. We'll get a little more into that later. Well, let's look at the intersection. So the probability of that the events A and B occur, notice, union was A or B. This is A and B. So that's what we call the intersection. So it's denoted by this, the upside down U, but we say probability of A intersection B. Now in the Venn diagram, what do we notice? The shaded region is still the intersection, but now only that overlap is the intersection. Again, we will talk about that a little later on, like what that means, not today. Alright, so at Lewis High School, Mr. Rubin's alma mater, there are 1,165 upperclassmen. Of them, 160 are in club, 530 of them are on a sports team, 35 of them do both, while 475 do neither. So what you're going to do is you'll complete the Venn diagram, and you don't really have to show me, you can explain it to me. I do want you to respond in some way on the Google form, but this is for your own help. And then, are the students who participate in both an example of a union or an intersection? Explain your response, and then how many students participate in at least one sport. Alright, so we gotta practice. Your Venn diagram should look something like this. A is the students in clubs, B is the sports team, so notice 160 A, 530 B, 35 are in the middle because they do both, and then the 475 they do neither. Are the students who participate in both an example of a union or an intersection? This is an intersection. There are two conditions that need to be met, right? A student must participate in both, a club and be on a team. And then how many students participate in one club? 530, 160 plus 530. That feels right, correct? No. We need to subtract the 35 who do both. And here's why. So, let's go back to this, right? We'll go back to this one. So, if you look at this circle, right, that 35 is included on the 160, right? It's part of that circle of A. But look, that 35 is also part of the B circle. So what that means is that 35 is actually being counted twice. They're being counted in the group that are in clubs, they're included in the group that is on a team. So what has to be done is you have to subtract it once, because you only want to count those 35 students once. Even though they participate in both, when you talk about the numbers or the probabilities, they only need to count for one of them, because they are being factored then and there. So, we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but really what you'd want to do is you'd want to subtract the in the overlap once, because the overlap's still going to be counted once. Alright, so for independent practice, what I need you to do is you have this scenario here, and I want you to answer those questions based on the scenario. Very similar to what we just did in the guided practice, alright? Have a good day, guys. We will reach out with any questions and we can discuss them.